One.
Hi, welcome to Fairport Harbor Public Library's Test Kitchen. Tonight, we're making polenta. Polenta is actually cornmeal.
We're making grits.
We're making grits.
Well, polenta, they're the same thing. Polenta's a finer grind, though, and we have grits.
Oh, we have grits?
It's all just cornmeal, but polenta is a finer grind than grits.
Okay, whatever she says, I don't care.
Polenta sounds fancier.
Well, polenta is what we had in my house growing up, because I grew up with this crazy Italian woman.
We had grits in my house.
And we had polenta. When I was a kid, a little kid, I didn't like it at all. But the stew was fascinating to look at. I shouldn't be saying this in front of a vegan who's going to be sad. But my mother used to make this wonderful stew with chicken legs, and you crack the bones and just stew them.
Oh, I grew up eating my grandma's marinara sauce made with pork neck bones.
Pork neck bones?
Yeah, so this vegan used to like suck the meat out of the neck bones.
Okay then. So broken chicken legs isn't bothering her at all. And then when I went to Italy when I was in college, polenta is served on a board about half the size of this kitchen. And the cornmeal is spread all over, and everybody gets their own little section to put on it whatever the topping is. It's kind of fun.
That sounds great.
It's really fun. And when I was looking at recipes, one of them was for a polenta buffet. Kind of like a potato buffet, only different. This water is going to... We put 3 cups of water.
Put the lid on it, because we're not quite ready for that.
Okay. And the onions are sauteing nicely with that beautiful little brown part. In Lee's cookbook, which she made, help, I'm a vegan. It's hilarious, by the way, just like her. And in her cookbook, one of the pages that I skipped when I read it initially was, brown food is good. And I think what she's talking about are the little charred parts on the bottom of the pan.
Yeah.
That we all go, oh my, you're burning it. No, you're not.
It's the difference between if you roast a vegetable versus boiling a vegetable. With doing nothing else, the roasted one is going to taste better. Why? Because it's turned brown. The caramelization, it's a chemical reaction. It gives you more texture, more flavor, some sweetness. It brings out all those flavors. So,
What she said.
we are making the grits today, the polenta. Like I said, it's all the same. It's ground corn. If you follow the recipe on the container, they call it cornmeal mush. So
Yes, another way to have that. Don't scoff. Yes, the texture is a little weird.
like breakfast. So
Yeah.
you do breakfast. Yeah.
But cornmeal mush with maple syrup on it is amazing.
That sounds excellent.
So good. You want me to turn this down?
No.
When do we cross the border into burnt cow?
We're nowhere near burned. So, if you've been following us for any length of time, you'll know that any time that we cook with onions, I always start them first because I don't want everything to taste like onions. So we give them time for that onion-flavored water to evaporate out, and before we add everything else, we just added some garlic and mushrooms. This particular recipe, it does not matter what you use. We are playing Kathy's fridge clean out today. We're using whatever she brought. There's onions, garlic, mushrooms. I'm going to cut up some peppers and tomatoes. And so with a lot of these vegetables we're using, they have a high moisture content. So it's going to cook down almost like a sauce. We could probably get away with calling it a ragu. And then, okay, so we'll get the cornmeal going because it takes a little bit of time, not that long, but I don't think we're locked in place here. Okay, so the trick grits of some sort, or polenta, or whatever, and it'll be lumpy. Like you'll bite into a chunk of it, and it'll be like just dry cornmeal on the inside. So this is how you prevent that from happening. So you put 3/4 of the water that you need in the pot to boil. You put the rest of the water, which for us is going to be 1 cup. We'll start over. You need 4 parts of water and 1 part of cornmeal. So we have 3 cups of water boiling in that pot, and then we're going to have 1 cup of water in this bowl. We're going to mix our 1 cup of grits into it. And then when you pour this into the boiling water, you'll stir it the whole time, and it'll incorporate better, and you won't have lumps. And I learned that from the recipe on the container. I'm pretty sure. Yes, that's how it tells you to do it.
You honestly can put anything on top of this stuff that you want.
Yes. Okay. So we just are gonna slowly dump in our cornmeal mush, which is very mushy at this state. Stir it, make sure it's all incorporated. Whisk out those lumps. I might have managed to get a couple lumps anyway, because I'm not using a whisk.
We have one there.
We do have one. Okay, so now we can turn this down. Okay, and that's good to go. If you can see this in the mirror, it is bubbling away. It's splattering all over my face.
And it bubbles.
So yeah, turn it down, let it simmer, and that's it. It'll be ready to eat in 8 minutes or so. So in the meantime, I'm going to keep chopping vegetables and add to our little mixture that we got going on.
Oh, which one's which?
This one is this one. So the thing we're not doing today is cooking with sage.
Yeah.
But if you would like some sage from Old Familiar Ways, they have it at the library.
We do, and it's yummy, as with all the herbs.
We were gonna do sort of a holiday sage situation with this, and then Kathy showed up with peppers and tomatoes, so we're not. But
Because
you could.
Lee knows what herbs go with what food. I have never handled it, thrown it in there and gone, oh, this doesn't taste that good.
It would have probably been fine. Sage to me is more of like a root vegetable seasoning. So
I could have brought that in too.
sage is in your poultry seasoning. You have it. It tastes like Thanksgiving. Sage and thyme are your Thanksgiving herbs. We're seasoning as we go. So every time we add a vegetable, we'll just add enough salt to season that one vegetable, and then at the end it'll be all seasoned. We can use all three. So when you're cutting tomatoes, because the skins can tend to be tough, especially if you don't have a super sharp knife, put the skin side down so that your knife can dig into the fleshy part, and it's less likely to slip and cut you. That probably sounds like thunder or Mushrooms go really well with polenta. So do the tomatoes. So does really anything. You could throw a can of tomato sauce in with this if you want it to be a more saucy situation, if you want it to really cover your grits. Then add more liquid. Yeah, throw the spinach in there. Nah. Throw it in. Yeah, so this is a great way to use up anything and everything that's in your refrigerator.
This isn't all of it though, because the root vegetables aren't here.
The root vegetables aren't here.
There are parsnips and potatoes.
If I was in charge of the shopping for this meal, it was going to be Brussels sprouts.
I need to understand how to shave Brussels sprouts. How do you do that?
Either with a very sharp knife or with just like a shredder,
Don't you shred your fingers on them?
I mean, I don't shave Brussels sprouts personally, but that's how you would do it. With the flat spot of like a box grater or like a hand.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, so you can use this. If you have a mandolin, it has a finger guard.
Yes, it does. I can still cut my fingers off, so it does. Where did you get the shaved Brussels sprouts? Did you buy them for?
I didn't say shave.
Did you not send me a picture of beans and Brussels sprouts and polenta?
Yeah, but were they? I may or may not have bought shaved Brussels sprouts. I certainly didn't shave them myself.
I'm so confused.
Okay, so you can see now that we have the spinach in there, which is super wet, tomatoes, peppers, mushrooms, everything has released its moisture. So we have this really nice, soft, juicy, sauce is not the right word, but almost sauce. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on that. Do you want to put that poblano in there? It's not going to cook all the way by the time we're ready. Okay.
No, you can wait. You want to pour these in there?
Oh, yeah, beans. So to turn this from a just mostly vegetable carb meal, we're going to add a can of beans. These are white beans, Great Northern beans, just to give us some protein, to make it more of a complete meal. Those were drained and rinsed. I think we probably have enough salt, but do you want to taste it?
I
think it's going to be good.
It looks scrumptious.
We can see it in the mirror. It looks really good. And it's very pretty.
Yes.
Look, green and red. It's like Christmas.
It is a holiday meal. We need some of that.
It's perfect.
Excellent. Okay. Then we're good to go. So what we're going to do,
As with all things wild spork. Want another bowl?
nope. We're going to put our polenta in there. Put our stuff on top.
Stop. Technical term.
And we're good to go. That's it.
Beautiful.
Dive in. Yeah.
Yum.
We'll see you next time when we make something else.
Something else. Yeah.